Hello, TheLadyKeziah here. Sometimes one is tempted to assume that a lot of things have changed because we are in a modern world, and so you come face to face with reality. And then you realize that in the midst of modernity, it's still the typical primitive traditional mindset that refuses to bend. So, in many homes, the definition of a good wife is a deeply entrenched cultural construct, passed down generationally with little room for evolution. And they say, and a kind of people. Have you sat in the company of typical primitive African men? Primitive might be insulting, sorry, but that is it. The mindset of our forefathers, describing what makes a woman marriage worthy. And you will likely hear a list of expectations that reads less like a partner for life and more like a job description for a multi-purpose domestic worker. And you begin to wonder, are they referring to a housemaid, a sex toy, a nanny, or someone's daughter who deserves love, respect, and partnership? This sounds like a thesis, but that is the problem many women, especially in African settings, are experiencing in their relationships and in their marriages. How then do we confront this outdated, patriarchal lenses through which many African men so define womanhood and wifely virtues? Fortunately, unfortunately, these men are still raised by women. Do we love our sons and raise our daughters to cherish marriage? Or we also train our men to embrace and nurture marriage? How then can we provoke honest dialogue about mutual respect and growth in marriage? Join me, let's have a conversation. In the comment section, let me hear your views too. The housemaid expectation. You know, all these chores are things any man who marries gets as a bonus. But it becomes worrisome when he's expected to maintain the home like clockwork. And this expectation is preached as a woman's duty. Less about partnership and more about servitude. Then it becomes exploitation, not partnership. A good wife in this narrative is the one who rises before the sun and sleeps long after it sets. Making sure the husband's clothes are ironed, his food is warm, and his ego is fed too. The sad aspect is, in some of these homes, both husband and wife are equally working. Because in this modern age, every husband expects that his wife will support him and support the home financially. And yet, we forget that the opposite of the same coin is equally true too. So the woman also leaves home to go and work, brings him money, but still the mindset of these men, the training, the teachings to these men haven't changed yet. Even if he closes early and gets home earlier, he will still have to wait for his wife to close and come and cook so he can eat. You drive through the traffic and see women running after vehicles, selling words, and they want people to buy their words, so they are running after vehicle just so they can make money. And yet they come home from their hustles and still nothing about the chores conversations can be done, because that's a no-go area. Those who are in the corporate world, it is a battle. You see, you seem surprised as a wife. That tells you how blessed you are, because you don't have these experiences. You are blessed to be married to that husband of yours. Give him all the respect and the support, because you have no idea what other women are going through. Some men don't even eat leftovers, meaning every day you are supposed to cook, fresh meals for them. Regardless of what you experience in the course of the day, he wants fresh meals. Even when there are stews and soups in the fridge, he will still have to wait for you to come and give him fresh cooked meals. Where is the partnership? Where is the shared responsibility? Marriage is not a hiring contract for unpaid labor. Yet in many households, it has been reduced to just that. The home becomes a workplace. Raising children, having children as a woman, in itself is a full-time job. So if this woman is still working outside to bring money, and you can't have a conversation around keeping the home, that I don't get it. Because then it means she's more or less like a single mother. But even some single mothers have the privileges of hiring other services from other people. Some men don't accept that, because to them, that makes you less of a good wife. Let's look at the sex toy expectation. In the comment section, let me hear your experiences, not necessarily what happened to you, what you equally know, what you've witnessed, so we can have a healthy dialogue, learning from one another. Sexual availability is often framed as a wifely obligation, not a shared intimacy. You see all kinds of ads on social media, some concoctions women are supposed to drink. So they will have tight somethings and things you can't even talk about publicly. Drinking all these things, aren't you afraid for your kidneys just to please your man? Should intimacy not be a shared responsibility? Do we raise our daughters to desire marriage and love our sons? Or we teach our sons to embrace and nurture marriage too? Some men genuinely believe that a woman's body becomes a marital right once they pay a bride price. Anytime they want sex, they are supposed to give sex. But when the woman wants sex, it is her business. How is this possible for us? So in such scenarios, the wife is only reduced to an object of gratification. And you have no idea what a woman feels when you are just making mockery of her body. If there is no respect and mutual responsibility, it means you are just using her body as a toy. And the abuse internally, you have no idea. Her own sexual agency is dismissed, and emotional needs are seen as secondary, if even it is acknowledged at all. Men are allowed to go for other women when their wives refuse them sex. But in case you don't know, there are women living in sexless marriages. Not months. You thought I was going to say months. No. Some women married women haven't had sex for years. And they dare not complain, because that will be disgracing their husbands who bewitched us. The woman has a soul too. This skewed understanding of intimacy breeds silent suffering. A wife becomes something to use rather than someone to be with. Just use her body. You get your gratification, and whatever happens to her is her business. How can love and respect thrive in a space where consent is assumed and desire is one-sided? When was the last time you asked your wife how she wants you to have her? No. Many typical African men don't have conversations around sex. They just want it to have it. So the women feel used. How can love and respect thrive in such environment? Let's look at the nanny expectation. I don't know about you, if you're a woman and you're watching, but I believe motherhood is a calling. Yes, but it's not only the woman's calling. The typical African man expects a good wife to raise the children, feed them, bathe them, discipline them, and handle all the emotional labor of parenting. While for them, it is all about being the provider. They give you the cash. Is it the card you want or the cash? That's it. In today's age, the provider card has a whole pass from fatherly responsibility and presence. But you see, this modern world, however, demands more. When it's appropriate for you, you're a modern man, so you want a modernized relationship, meaning your wife is supposed to support you financially. But when it's appropriate for her, and she brings it to your notice for you to be a modern man by helping her in the house chores and by understanding that intimacy is a mutual and a shared responsibility, then you become a traditional man. You only have sex when you want. No. Children in this age don't just need a provider. They need a present, engaged, and nurturing father. Some of you are excellent when it comes to fatherhood. And the gap is you've transferred the love for your wife to your children and neglected this woman. Why is she on your bed then? Why is she still on your bed if you don't want her? Is that a punishment? When parenting is one-sided, the burden on the woman becomes unbearable. And her individual identity begins to dissolve into the daily grind of care work. But the forgotten reality is this. This woman we're talking about, it's someone's daughter. Are you a parent too? Is that what you would want for your girl? The most jarring realization is this. The woman being described is someone's daughter. Someone who was loved, raised, educated, and nurtured with dreams and aspirations of her own too. Are you a parent? I am. I have 2 children in the university, a girl and a boy. How dare do I expect another woman who has equally invested into her children's life like this for their child to come marry my son and he abuse her like this under my watch? No way. I know the investment I've made into my daughter's life. So I would dare not watch my son abuse another woman, another man's daughter. Why is this normal to us? She's a full human being, intelligent, creative, emotional, spiritual, and dynamic. She's not signing up to lose herself in marriage, but to merge paths with someone who honors her identity, values her voice, and partners with her through life seasons. When men forget that the woman before them is also someone's beloved, someone with purpose and worth, they mistreat her and call it culture. Is culture not supposed to be dynamic? Why has ours become stale. How do we rewrite the narrative? It is time we unlearn these damaging standards and redefine what it means to have a good wife and indeed a good husband. No wonder these women also demand money from you. And some see even your sex capabilities as being a good husband too. Because the women in this generation, the barometer for measuring a healthy and functional marriage, sex is a barometer too. So if you're weighing them by all these household chores, then they are asking, what do they have in return? So no wonder that untold expectation of provide and provide and provide. She's your builder, your co-pilot in life, not your shadow, not your silent sufferer. Just as we demand growth, responsibility, and character from the woman, we must start demanding this from the man too. If not, then you can't be in marriage. Marriage is not a convenience store, that a man can just check in for comfort and control. It is a covenant of mutual evolution. Anything less than that is just exploitation. In conclusion, just like I said, what a typical African man describe what a good wife is. And you often see a glaring mismatch between what he demands and what he offers. It is many of them, it is what they are getting. They are not coming with what they can offer. No wonder these women have become materialistic because they feel used. If a woman must be all this, what then must the man be? This is the question in the minds of our children in this generation, watching how their parents represent marriage. The tragedy of this patriarchal lens is not just what it does to the woman, but what it allows the man to become: entitled, emotionally stunted, and unaccountable. It is time for a new kind of African man to emerge, one who sees a wife not as a tool, but as a treasure, not as a servant, but as a human being with a soul too, not as a lesser, but as an equal partner in purpose. Because I believe this is what you would want for your daughter, and this is what I want to. Meaning this is the same thing I would want for somebody else's daughter who marries my son. A woman who is willing, ready, and able to do life with my son deserves respect and all these too. Think about these things. In the comment section, let me hear your experience, not necessarily your encounter, but what you've heard that we are supposed to learn. Until I come your way in my next video, watch another video from my channel and let me hear you in the comments section. Much love and blessings.